Uh-oh. Got my connection right. Welcome, welcome. Glad you guys could join us. It is going to be a good one for sure. And of course, I left my notebook upstairs with my questions. But it's all right. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So just give it a couple minutes to wait for Tracy to get on in here. But don't forget, guys, hit the link in my bio. We got a couple classes coming up, a couple events. The big event is going to be May 29th. We're going to basically take our Instagram Live platform and bring it in person. We got some great speakers. Our goal on May 29th is to help you guys, especially you guys working the 9 to 5, learn how to reach your goals while using your 9 to 5. So whether that's repairing your credit, whether that's learning about building family wealth, real estate investing, you name it. We got the whole, like, the dream team of real estate speakers coming that day, live and in person, for you guys to, definitely time to learn, for you guys to be able to ask questions, network safely, and a whole lot more. Lunch will be provided, breakfast will be provided. It's an all-day event. Safely. Dun 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 dun.
Hi.
How are you? How are you? I love the glasses.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm well. How are you?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little tired. You know,
It's, it's a lot happening right now.
it's right. It's the early summer season for us. We started early.
It's nuts out here. Just going to keep it all the way real. Like, it's crazy. I have never seen this crazy this early for this long. Like, we still haven't gotten a break from last year.
Right. We had a small break in between Christmas and Thanksgiving, and then it was like real small, just them holidays. But from there, it's been nonstop. But we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate being busy.
We are appreciative. We just take care of our mental health, because when I tell you that it's a very, very special person to have to deal with some of the crazy that is out here in this world.
Right on, for buyers and sellers. But before we jump into that, so for those of you who don't know, the Queen is with us. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all. I am Real Estate Tracy. I've pretty much been known by that for a very long time. I've been in real estate. It's going on almost 20 years now.
Salute.
Yeah. I started very, very early. My family's been in real estate for 40-something years. So this is what I know and what I do. We can talk about my story on how I got into all of that, but this is what it is.
Bruce said half of the headaches are from Bruce.
Yes, and he knows that. But we love Bruce. We love Tech Law. But yes, absolutely.
He designs some beautiful houses. He designs some beautiful homes. So definitely hats off. Big Bucks Bruce. That's what we call him. Big Bucks Bruce.
I heard some of the nicknames that y'all call him. He does big projects, and I get it. And they got a lot going on with them, but they are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes, but so let's start.
Is my signal?
I can hear you. You're good. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. So let's just 20 years in the business. So I'm literally hitting almost like my 7-year mark, and I'm just trying to think about getting the year 15, because everybody says being an entrepreneur, being in business, it takes 15 years before you're successful. So, and I'm like, I'm scratching the surface. Did I pause or did you pause?
No,
can you hear me?
A call came in. Can you hear me?
I hear you. You're back. I lost you again. You there?
I can half see you. I don't know what
Uh,
happened.
I, here,
There we go.
here you go.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry. It was so
So,
much, but whatever. Okay, I'm listening.
but that's typically our day in real estate. We think we got it, and then, you know. But I was saying, so I'm just hitting my 7-year mark, and like for you to make it to 20 is phenomenal. And I'm just trying to think, just to get to year 10, year 15, because I was saying I've been hearing like, yo, you don't really become successful if, like, till you 15 years in, and I'm like, yo, I'm tired now. Like 15, like, and then it won't be so up down up down up down down kind of thing. Is would you say yes? Like, what advice you got for me?
Probably until you hit that 10-year mark, it's not up down anymore. It's a little bit more coasting. You got a lot more systems going on. You got a lot more regulars with buyers and different things, and you can kind of determine who you're working with, who you're not working with, and that kind of thing at 10 years. But you also start to be able to predict the cyclability of the market.
Okay.
So there are times that you can pay attention and be like, okay, I know we're about to be in a seller's market, so hit these listings real hard. Or, oh, interest rates is going back up, the buyers is pulling back, gonna be a buyer's market, so let me start marketing more towards buyers. So you start to pay attention to a lot of the things that happen in the market as you hit 10. So you're good. You're in a lot of things, which I think is the reason why you're so tired. But I get it, and it's necessary. Like, you gotta be able to have a bunch of different streams, a bunch of different hats. So depending on what is the dominant in the industry, you can just pivot right to it.
Okay. So I mean, for me, I do try to focus on my realtor hat, because that's the money that I say that's my 9 to 5.
Same.
Hey, if I could do 2 flips a year and profit, I'm good. I don't
Yep.
need.
Nope. You don't.
I also don't, like you said, want to be working super crazy and trying to find that balance with family, social life. With the pandemic, this pretty much is my social life now.
Absolutely. Oh, you were doing it. I was like, okay, I see it. I ain't mad. Like, you gotta be able to come on, talk to me. I need the interaction.
Right. I miss you guys. But can you talk about that for you? Like, how has it been? Nobody's ever experienced COVID. I know you've seen some different markets, but it's like, how has it been for you business? How has it been for you personally with COVID?
So business-wise, it's been nuts. My network is so crazy because I have lived in Philly all my life, from ENS, high school,
Okay.
Ivy Leaf, middle school, Drexel, and I've got sorority organizations too, since I'm an AKA. Like, it's so many things that when people got a chance to really, really sit down and do some evaluation of their lives, they were like, I gotta move.
but like who they call Real Estate Traci, which is a testament to the business that you do.
Yeah. So that part has been dope. It's been nonstop. Business hasn't boomed better that I've seen in my career, outside of when everything was 100% financing and 500 credit scores, but we'll talk about that later. But in that conversation, it's been fine. Personal life and stuff too, you really, really had to adapt and utilize technology and utilize some of the things and your resources. Like, I literally had to pull on some of my close friends. We have a standing call weekly just to check in, like, hey girl, you all right? Okay, good. How's the family? Because when you're busy and you're homeschooling and you're Zooming for your job, and you also got to take care of other obligations, you forget to check in with you.
Right.
So that's probably been the biggest thing. And even from a technology standpoint, I got to a point, like, right before the holidays, when I knew everything was going to shut down. Every family member, y'all about to get a Facebook portal. Here you go. Plug it up to your TV.
Okay.
We've been whole Christmas thing on,
TV.
the television.
Okay. Nah, I I tried to get the Alexa thing
Mm.
from my grandparents, but because of the COVID, so then I couldn't go over there and set it up for them. So now we got it, but now the issue is they don't know their Wi-Fi password.
They're like, come on, you got to come over here and fix this, because we don't know what this is.
For sure, for sure. But it is good to hear though. So like you got a support group outside of real estate though, just to keep your sanity, and you know that helps keep your mental, your spiritual, and your creative juices going just for the get up and do the real estate part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Real estate has always been an outlet for me. Always been a space that I could provide value and connect to people to be able to help them with something that was just very natural,
Okay.
to me because of what my family did, that it was like, oh, you don't know how to do that? Oh, let me show you. Here's what you do and here's who you call. And they're like, they don't teach you this in school. Like, why do you know how to do it? I'm like, my family did it. Like, call my dad. Like, I don't know.
Well,
So
no, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, like, that's kind of what spawned out of that, if that makes sense.
It does.
But I do a lot of other stuff. Like, I'm involved in a lot of other things. I am an investor. I do flip. I do buy and holds. My family does have a portfolio that I do manage. I have a property management company of my own. Second, it looked like it froze.
Yep,
You
you
see
bet.
me? Okay. So it's a bunch of other stuff that happens, and I'm involved in a lot of different things, and that stuff kind of all fuels real estate as an outlet, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense because so real estate is basically like your foundation, but then you got these arms that do other things with or without you, kind of thing. But you're the brain behind it, which is beautiful. So, so let's talk about the family part because I feel like your story might be special or a little different than most people because, like you said, you keep mentioning family and dad. So tell us about your background of being a real estate, a real estate child.
Yeah. So okay, so my family background, my father's from Baltimore, and he actually was a steam fitter.
Okay.
He came to Philly for work and everything else. My entire family is in Baltimore. He left there, came here, in steam fitting, and a lot of the 9 to 5 blue collar jobs that were in like the late 60s, early 70s. They were heavily written with a lot of different ethnicities. He got involved with some of the his Jewish counterparts and got involved in real estate, and they kind of pulled him in to kind of be like, hey, here's what wholesaling is, here's what real estate is.
In 70s?
Yeah. So the concept's not new. The concept
Okay.
is very old. The concept's been around for years. Everybody's been doing it. It's not new. The difference is, it back then it wasn't widely discussed. It was a kind of a little bit of a members only club
Okay.
that was kind of like, we do this,
And
we get.
they were wholesaling amongst each other per se. Like, yo, I know James got this deal, but I don't want it. I'm gonna put my man Chris on. Chris, give me $2,000 real quick.
Or I have kids, they need to get some bricks under their name. So you got 3 properties that you're trying to get rid of because you're getting married or you're moving away. Sell them to me so I can put them under my kid's name, and then I can sort their portfolio from there because I know what you did with that property. I know how you bought it. It's in good condition, and I can just, hold it and use it for them because it's not going to fall down. So a lot of that conversation was happening in the city super, super early, super, super crazy. So none of that was an issue. In that discussion, he learned real estate. So back when sheriff sales, dollar houses, You know, when you're showing up and folks got reserved spots to sit down, it's like, oh yeah, no, he's sitting with us. He gonna learn with us today. So that's how he got in the mix of a lot of that conversation. And in learning that stuff, he put, you know, things in place for himself. He bought a bunch of properties for himself. He wholesaled, he sold properties. Then he decided, I'm gonna get a real estate license. So now I can maintain some of the quick income while, in a sense, his idea was, thought process was, I am a real estate licensee, so I can source my own deals. So I'm meeting people, constantly meeting people. Yeah, I can sell your house. Yeah, I can sell your house. But if you got something that's like a granny, you want to sell it? I can buy it. Okay. So now get a couple of those under your belt, built under your house,
Right.
and you bought them for pennies on the dollar, potentially dollar houses or different situations that you got involved in when it was, you know, available in the city. And then next thing you know, you're sitting on, you know, a 60 to 75 door portfolio, maintaining it. Now, a lot of details going on with all of that, but for the most part, that's where it is. And then he built a real estate company under them, and then started to build his brand and his reality. So you ever heard of Quality Real Estate, the Fixer Upper King?
I
I
haven't.
probably don't know that, but if you was around in the late 80s, early 90s, they was the wholesale company to go to. They send a list out of like 75 properties with addresses, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, cost, and you would literally bid through Quality. The family that owned that company were some of the family members that sat with those reserved seats at the sheriff's sale. And they would literally, you know,
Just will and deal.
his
So,
son around. He's still
oh,
doing
from
business.
quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
well,
still out.
I would imagine is that, well, somewhat like you, like, yo, when if your people is doing that much real estate, it gotta rub off on you. So it's like, when did you step into the mix? Like, Dad, this is what I want to do too.
And it was crazy. It was so crazy, because I grew up with my mom. My mom went to Shippensburg, graduated soon, cum laude. Like, she was in that mix of gotta go to school, gotta get a job, da 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 da. I went to Drexel and I went for chemical engineering. Like, that was my path. That was my conversation. It wasn't until Y2K hit that we started having the conversations about expendability of people in the corporate America who potentially may not be able to make the cut after, you know, things happen. Because, you know, I'm chemical engineering, I'm working in a manufacturing plant, they got machines pumping out vaccines, and Y2K, they're like, we don't know if these machines is going to work. You might have to stay here overnight and make sure that these machines work. And Y2K comes in the new year and it's Christmas, and my birthday's Christmas Eve, and you tell me I gotta stay here at work during my birthday to watch a machine? No. I was like, so this not gonna work. And even in the conversation when I was talking to my dad, and this is something that I might have to drag him on some sort of live so people can meet him, because I talk about him so much. Everybody's like, I've never met him, blah, blah, blah. But throughout my life, he's always been someone in my ear and in an antagonist. He like, you going to work and it's raining outside. I don't got to go to work when it rains. It's a holiday. And I'm like, holiday? Like, I got to call off. I got to schedule time off. What you mean holiday? And he looking around like, you know, you don't have to do that, right? Like, you know, you don't need to appease or politic or anything corporate. Like, we have our own brand. You can do it here. And it was like, no, I have to have this pedigree and do these things. And he's like, you don't have to do.
Right. So let's talk about that, because I literally just had this conversation with somebody today about how I love college. So I'm gonna always be a person to say, yo, I think especially for a young black man,
Correct.
go to college and figure it out, but don't go
Correct.
to college because you think that's going to be your savior or the thing to put you in position. The college
Correct.
is really where I feel like that was my think tank in college.
As
It
it
was
should.
expensive think tank, but without college, like you said, go back to my upbringing of I got a degree. Mom said get a degree, get a job. I did it. I got laid off. New Year's Day, I got laid off. Newest person on the team, first person
Mm,
off. But I
mm.
had real estate in my bug from going to dig events in Philadelphia in
Okay.
college. I just happened to go.
Okay.
So it was like I always, like you said, I knew it was there. I just didn't know how it would get there. So it was like, all right, I got to figure this out. And then when I got fired, it was like, wait, I went to school. I showed up for work. Look, I ain't even called out yet. And y'all fired me because y'all said it wasn't enough room for me in the salary, but he got a raise, he got a raise, he got a raise. Y'all got a new truck for the team.
Facts.
But I'm going like, hold up.
And I'm gonna say this. I have no issue with college. I believe it is a rite of passage, and most inner city youth and black and brown children need to conditioning. They need to learn how to think. They need to know how to write, and they need to learn how to speak in this world. So I have no problem with college education. The other portion of the education that we need to teach in homes is financial literacy. That's what they don't teach you in school. And that was the difference when the light clicked on for me. Y2K, I turn around and my dad's like, so you ready now or no? And I'm like,
right.
okay.
I let your mom tell you and I let you do your thing. Nothing wrong with that. But at some point, even the thing is, if you keep your job, the real estate is still your foundation. And I did get another job at doing social work, but it was to the point where my supervisor was really, really grinding me up, making life things difficult for me because she found out I was doing real estate.
Oh,
so attitude with me.
yeah.
So now she want to be doing weekly check-ins and calls and clock. Like I do social work. We don't. You see my port. You see what the notes say in the thing. DH called you, so I'm good. But it was like I got to a point in 2016. I'm making the money. The portfolio is growing now. So it's like, lady, I don't got to be here. Now I ain't gonna wait for you to fire me. I sent the notice and I gave him 30-day notice. I don't even need. I can stay for another 30, but I'm letting you know I'm out.
I'm out. I think for entrepreneurship too, and even some portions of financial literacy, that's very important too for your psyche to be able to get to this space where you know that you got solid ground under your feet. You know that you got enough education and not enough resources that, you know what, if I'm gonna put up with this, I can really do this on my own. I can really make this work. And a lot of the things about corporate America that I do feel like sometimes can be lacking for entrepreneurs is it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. Like you learn in corporate America, you learn that you got to get up. You learn that you got deliverables. You learn that you got to document. You got to learn you got to CYA. You learn you got to do all this other stuff that if you translate that into entrepreneurship, you getting paid to do this for somebody else. Do it for yourself.
Yeah, so I almost want you to say the whole thing again, but I don't know if you're going to be able to say it so great like that, like you did the first time.
At the end of the day, it's really just you want to bet on yourself, but you want to also make sure that you have the tools. And when I tell you, you will know, you will definitely feel it because you're questioning things, or you'll start turn around and be like, that don't make sense. Why did she just do that? Or why? By the time you start thinking of ways to do other people's job better, it's probably because you should be doing it for yourself.
Right. So let's talk about the other side to it though. Now you done left, you was getting that stable check. So that's why I'm a big advocate and we do these events. Use your 9 to 5 to fund your business until your business can fund your lifestyle, right?
Correct.
But to your point, when you switch out now, it's a little rough in the beginning. It might be a little
Oh
rough in the
yeah.
beginning, middle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Like
it's
that's what we like to call the pledge process. That's what that's called. You need to make sure that this is what you want, that this is what you're committed to, because when the money's not rolling in and the effort still got to keep going and you got to keep doubling up, that's where entrepreneurs are made. Are you built for this life? And at the end of the day, in the conversation about the difference between corporate America and entrepreneurship is they are paying you to build someone else's dream. You got the skills, you got the education. They wouldn't have hired you if they didn't think you could do it. But if you do it for yourself, it's a transition from a mental mindset. You got to learn that we're not paying you for showing up, because that ain't, a par for the course for an entrepreneur. And the other portion of it is it's about deliverables. It's about the outcome. Did you execute? Did you follow through? And when you do those things, you will get paid, you will get access from it, and you will get resources. And even in the conversation about entrepreneurship, people have to understand that sometimes getting paid isn't monetary.
It might just be now you got a new friend, a new relationship that you could call on for something down the line. You don't know what it is. And in the beginning, you go, like you said, you're gonna do a lot of that pledging process.
Listen, when I tell you that I would bet money on my network that there are people right now, because I've saved their life, because I made some money for them out of nothing, that they thought that it was bleak. If I needed something and I truly, truly need it, because I don't call on favors lightly, if I truly, truly need it, they would be there in a heartbeat with no questions asked.
Right.
And that's the foundation that as a entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you're understanding. All of this isn't always about money. It's about resources. It's about relationships. It's about networks. It's about getting things that are not monetary, but you can barter with, that can get you to another level. Like, hey, I might got a property management company. You might need some tenants that need to be taken care of, but I need you to file a deed for me downtown. You do that without making me go 3-month wait that they're requiring right now? Is that doable for you? Yes. Guess what? I got your tenants.
Nah, that's
So,
dope. That's dope. So would you say that in itself is how you've been able to maintain 20 years of excellence?
a lot of it, yes, is definitely my relationships, my network, my integrity. When I tell you, there have been so many times that I could have made dirty money. So many. There's so many times that I could have defrauded people, grandmothers, aunties, uncles, because they, when you're in a certain space, they trust you blindly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I promise the times that I've done people right in my life, that I've made sure that I've stayed above board with them. And even if it was a conversation like, look, this ain't gonna work. I don't want to be the one to tell you that, but I'm gonna just tell you that this is something that you should probably call somebody else for, because this you gonna get you hurt.
Right, right.
So it's huge for longevity.
Nah, that's dope. So now though, that's kind of what, not kind of, but I guess that's how you've gotten the position you're in now, working for your new brokerage, Mosaic.
Yes.
Did I
Yes.
say
So
Mosaic?
yes, you said it right. So Mosaic was crazy. That was a crazy conversation. I ended up meeting one of the development partners, Leslie Smallwood Lewis, at a conference that I was speaking in for Philly Real Estate Week. And then I met her again when I was doing the women in real estate conferences that were happening by Better Than Success. And we vibed, and she was just like, we should go to dinner. And I'm like, okay. So we start talking, and she was kind of like, yeah, we're building a brokerage. We really, really want you a part of it. We really, really want you.
It's a black-owned brokerage.
Mosaic is completely Black owned. We are WBE, MBE. And if you understand what that means you're minority business certified. women business certified, meaning your ownership is at least 51%. It allows you to do so many things in this city with regards to those designations, especially the minority contracts that are required under the city.
Okay.
So that was huge. And the brand and how they're building everything as far as their business structure, I was sold. Like, their conversation to me was, we want to build a brand that is diverse. We want to build a brand that is here to literally work with and create generational wealth for Black and brown communities, so that way they have advocates, because everybody else has advocates. Everybody else is able to do a lot of different things. So we want to be able to use some of the weight that we've created and power that we can throw around and create this privilege, for our community, which is that's all of what I'm here for. Like,
Right.
That's all I want for us, is to be able to normalize Black excellence.
Right. Having home ownership, financial stability, and options for the generation under us to come.
Correct.
That's dope. That's dope. So over there, you guys, because I see things every once in a while, like you guys are working on development projects. You're still selling houses left and right. So I mean, just let us in a little bit. Let us know, like, what's real estate Traci cooking up?
Oh my God, it's so much, and there's so many things behind the scenes. Definitely for real estate, specifically with the brokerage, we are now a team through COVID. And now into 2021, you'll see a lot more announcing of understanding of how our team is. We are probably a team going into about 22 now of residential agents. We also have a commercial brokerage that's a part of our team as well. We also have a property management division as well for large communities and large apartment buildings and developers that need that full-fledged streamlined property management. We're doing community education and community resources, but a lot of that is being trickled down from the foundation of the development. So if you've seen in the news, the city put together a RFP that was needed to redevelop the Navy Yard.
Yes.
And Mosaic is one of the development partners who is redeveloping somewhere close to, I think, 11 acres of land in the Navy Yard, restructuring the businesses, rebuilding some of the commercial buildings and residential buildings. So it's going to be, it's a 15-year project, and I believe it's like $4 billion total for the project. The
15 years.
conversation is that it's going. Yeah, it's a big project, and everything from condos to townhomes to hotels to commercial spaces to actual restaurants and different things. It's going to be a little city.
I was going to say the Navy about to turn the Navy Yard into Penn's Landing, 10 type time.
Right. What it should have been. And it's massive. And that's probably one of the more visible projects and larger projects. Mm-hmm. But there's a few other things that are going on too, with PHA Shardswood, their main campus over there where their corporate offices are. There's going to be some development too for townhomes, condos, and different things over there, not far from like Ridge and Broad. Okay. Over there, that side. And a few other things that, I can't
talk about it yet. No, not yet. We can't get the exclusive. We won't tell nobody. We won't tell nobody.
We don't got a press release yet. Y'all not going to get it. Thank you. But it's big and it's major. And one of the things I love is when you have a minority-owned company who's behind it and they a brother and a sister. Like, when I tell you, I am proud to see them get in these meetings and these conversations, because they don't hold no punches. They'll let you know, like, that doesn't serve the community.
Right.
we need you to be an equity partner in this development. And we will stop and stand until it's not.
Got you. But
So
that,
okay.
no, I was just gonna say, so that I feel like to the point of them and how they can position themselves is like, yo, they built themselves up where it's like, yo, they don't gotta like teeter around the fence, like, yo, they know their value kind of thing.
Absolutely. And it's been something that's been, their development company's probably been existing like 12, 13 years. It's really just starting to kind of bubble a little
But
bit
they
in
weren't
Philly because of some of the
they Philadelphia, what, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a slow build, and then that big project after big project, and everybody's understanding what's going on, and we need more equity development, we need more Black developers, we need more people that understand the communities, and making sure that this gentrification word isn't a bad word. It's partnership. It's let me show you how to use your land and do something with it that can be helpful to you and the community. So it's been really, really dope,
So
and it's getting started.
so can you touch on, I because like that was going to be one of my questions about the developer versus the mom and pop investor kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you've been able to see the both worlds, and it's like now my antennas have been up on trying to learn development, new construction, like LeVar, like Mike Holloway, they're doing the condo units and stuff like that. But it is
Yes,
a
yes,
different learning curve from learning this 3-bedroom house, bathroom,
correct,
kitchen, some plumbing kind of
correct.
thing. So it's like, can you touch on like how to get that kind of growth from residential world to development? And I guess let's even circle it back before we jump. Just for the everyday person that you would say, yo, everybody at least needs one investment property outside of their personal home. So it was like,
Correct.
can you give some people some tangible things to say, hey, this is how you get that one investment property. Then once you get there, you can start going to the larger stuff.
I mean, investment property, personal stuff. I always tell people first start where you are. Like look at your family members. See if there's anybody that owns property that's not doing nothing with it or just sitting there dilapidated. Start there. You can probably use that as your test property. If not, then the next conversation is trying to find something else that you can house hack, something else that you can live in, a multi-unit, or something else that you can, control and be able to be close enough to it that you can still be able to utilize some of these government programs and, first time buyer programs and different stuff. So it doesn't isn't a big burden to you with all of the money required out of pocket.
Right.
So I would start there. The transition and what I have learned under the big guys and doing the bigger developments that are millions of dollars, a lot of times they'll tell you that there is no one who teaches development. There is no one who gives you a full blueprint of it.
Right.
You have to work under someone and learn the tutelage from them for several years in order to be able to have enough instinct to be able to do it on your own, because every deal is different. No deal is the same. No similar than regular development and flips and rehabs. You have the same issues and stuff with workers and city and L&I and resources. It's just at a larger level. The one thing that I can say that's different, that is helpful, that I've learned in the development portion, is debt is looked at very differently. Very differently. And there are a lot of resources that allow developers at a large level to restructure debt. And depending on the use of building, you could potentially get tax credits and money from the government that says, yes, build that, and we will give you money to do so.
Right. So those opportunity zone credits, between that, the tax abatements, and then my man Tariq was in here talking about the PIDC, the funding you could get on the state level as well.
Correct.
Right.
And it's all, if you understand it, you know where to look, and you can piece it all together, you can
Right.
put a lot of beautiful things in the city with the least amount of conversation.
Money. Got what? So, and that's but like you said, I wonder why it's so challenging. So like I can find money for residential, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I can fix the paperwork. Now they're making it a little harder now with the process to get the piece of paper to get your building permits. With that, they're making it, but you can figure it out. But then, like you said, to learn the funding level of you talking about tax credits, what I could build on the lot size, or how many units I could put, without making the neighbors mad at me and all that stuff. Like you said, it goes on and on kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
It does.
I'm hearing find you a mentor or somebody that you could partner with.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely mentor, absolutely work under them, absolutely to help them teach you as much as they can for what they need. I'm trying to talk my development partners into creating some sort of master class. So maybe you guys can all help me get down and do this, because that's really, really their passion, is to be able to empower other minority developers, so that way it's not such um, an oddity, and it's not such something that they can't get things done, because everybody should be thinking along equity development. Everybody should be thinking in that vein. If you are a developer, you are a community partner.
Right.
So it's crazy that we have other thought processes out here that are actually building, but
Right. But that's the thing. Like now, like even like all over West Philly, I'm seeing new construction popping up. I'm seeing like literally next door to your dad's building, they getting ready to drop them apartments, St. Joe's.
I know, I saw.
Well,
We've
they went up and down the block trying to offer everybody checks?
mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. They've been doing it for years, though. They've been doing it for years, and it wasn't until people started to get real, real funny after COVID. The businesses started to get a little bit light.
Right,
now that you was robbing Peter to pay Paul is a little heavier this year than they was last year. And now you're looking around like St. Joe's don't sound too bad.
Look, how much did y'all say again?
Facts. And it, like I said, real estate is cyclical. And if you pay attention and you watch, you can potentially get all of the things that you were considering getting. And any deal is possible with time. It may not be the right time now, but give you a pandemic and a almost economic depression, and now we might have a deal.
Well, so can you touch on that in regards to the market, right? And you said like the word, I'd be like, don't say it earlier when you said home buyer grants. Like, we not getting them grants, ain't working right now. Grant seller assist, don't ask. Stack use your stimulus money, your PUA, whatever you using, put that to the side because you're gonna need it right now. But
you going
but outside of the first time home buyer, but just the market in general, do you think this market is going to ease up?
No, because it has absolutely no reason to ease up. Interest rates have not risen beyond what is still historically low. Even when we started out in 2020 at them being at 2.75 or something, might be hovering at a high 2, low 3. That's still historically low.
Right.
We had a boom in 2010 and it was at 5. Like we're still good to go. The money still makes sense. There is no other cheaper money that you can borrow at 3% interest over 30 years for anything.
So why not buy real estate? And I've been telling people, look, I don't care if you feel like you're overpaying, right? If it appraises, it appraises, right? If it doesn't, we'll talk about it. But if it appraises, these house numbers, just imagine if it's worth 250 now, it should be worth 225 in actuality. I get it, but you're 25 grand closer to being to a higher number in 5 to 10 years. So why not take it? And it's cheaper now than like you said, than it's ever been.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper. A lot of the conversation too that people don't understand is real estate is the cheat code to the tax code. So as long as you are in the ownership seat, the depreciation is still available to you. You can write off a lot of things. So when you're in that space, you can pivot so much with all the things you got going on in your life because you own property. If you're in a space where you potentially may overpay for something right now, you're overpaying it at 3% over 30 years with the potential to depreciate the asset for 30 years.
Depreciate, pay the mortgage down while the value is still going up on the property. And it's even if the market, I say people, worst case scenario, the market tank next year, right? 3 years from now, a year from now, the market's gonna go back. It ain't gonna stay down forever. And then, right, even to your point, I love that you said, hey, I don't see anything coming down the pipe, because it's like COVID came and shut us down, and the market boomed. So it's like, unfortunately, you must want a like natural disaster, because outside of that, it ain't nothing at this point that's stopping this train.
It's not, and all the powers that be are pushing for it too, which is a little bit of a scary space, but it is what it is. And the conversation I always tell for people who are part of Philadelphia, if you don't own anything now, if you don't buy anything and you're from here, you're not going to recognize what it becomes in 5 to 10 years where you're priced out of it because the market is skyrocketing. You got a full 9-unit blue building that was sold for it was $1.9 million across from Mercy Hospital, aka used to be Misericordia.
That did go under, that did sell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the package. They had that package, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and like you said, like, yo,
building.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's a 9-unit building. It's producing income. Somebody who's looking for some tax deference, who doesn't from Philly, who wants to buy it, put everything in the space. But guess what? You sit that in the middle of a residential space across from a hospital the University of Penn just bought. The entire neighborhood does this. All you had to do was sit there.
So we got grandmom's house over there on Cedar Avenue. So, you know, we, like you said, mom holding it down. Mom, like, I don't care what y'all said, we just gonna keep waiting.
Good. Wait. I'm with mom. They gonna have to buy out and put me in a gold car to send me wherever I'm going when they take it. You have to do that because I'm telling you, like, it's so much in development, and I know we talk about some of this stuff too and some of the resources in the conversation. If you're from Philly, at the minimum, if you're involved in development, if you're involved in any of that stuff, you should know about city planning commission. You should know about the 2035 plan. You should understand everything that's happening in the city so that way you can understand what's going on and where the development dollars are being placed. And if it's around your neighborhood, you might want to prep for what's about to come down the pipe because you can take advantage of it as a homeowner.
Okay.
So,
and then that's the crazy thing. You got to be a homeowner to be in the game. We ain't telling you got to own 10, 20 houses, but at least just own your home.
Own one home. Tax code. So as soon as you write on your tax return that I am a homeowner and I have a mortgage and I need to depreciate X, Y, and Z, everybody's like, okay. Nothing to talk about.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We good. We got you. We understand because you participated in the rules. You did what the tax code says, and we have to give you what we told you we was going to give you in the tax code. It's fine.
Nah, that's major. So for you though, what if we can't get the brokerage? Is there anything we can expect or see coming from you from the educational standpoint for the community?
So I'm probably gonna do a little bit more speaking and conversations of different stuff because one of the things that I see in Philly, and I love it. I love the energy that's around real estate. I love the newfound
fascination. I love that everybody's understanding loans and hard money and, you know, everything else. But I want to start pushing the culture forward for the conversation of everybody is so excited to get it out the mud. There's a next portion to that conversation about get it out the mud. You got to understand maintenance of legacy. So you hustle, do all of these things, you put everything together, and you're making this money, and you're flipping houses, and you're doing all this stuff. Make sure you lay in the foundation for the next generation, so that way they don't got to work as hard as you, and that they can use that platform to springboard off to the next level, to take it a little bit more and a little bit beyond where you are.
Right.
Because there's so much emphasis on hustle. There's so much emphasis on getting it. And I'm not saying that you don't need that energy to get started, because that's how you get it. Moving forward into that next conversation, you got to be able to keep it. You got to know the rules on how to keep it. You got to understand the tax code. You got to understand what trusts are. You got to understand how to create these systems to make sure that if your kids decide that they don't ever want to do real estate ever in their life moving forward, that what you did in this lifetime can still take care of them.
Right. Between trust, life insurance, having a will. Just have a basic thing, having a will.
Having a will. Having a will. And if you own anything in this world, even if it's a bank account, I encourage you to write it down, say who you give it to, get it notarized by somebody, and put it in a lockbox, a safe, something, because there's far too many of us losing our wealth in death.
So
too many.
I just got with Courtney, Ivy Investor. She used to get my will and my documents together last year during the pandemic.
Good. Because you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot, and we need to make sure it's taken care of. God forbid.
Right.
But at the end of the day, want to make sure.
Well, no, so that literally was my scare, because COVID, I did get COVID, and it shook me up, and I was like, yo, I thought I had time to get this stuff in order. But when it hits you, and you like, my wife, my kids, my parents, like, I tell people, yo, you know, I was one of them dudes, like, my wife, no, but she don't know. Like, so she knows, you know, so it was like, maybe I should at least write this stuff down, so if she needs to know.
And you got kids, like, come on, like, don't leave them in the dark having to go find you with a flashlight. Like, you really gotta actually put this stuff in a space and organize. And it's just, it's nothing wrong with mimicking some of the more successful, some of the larger organizations and how people operate, because if you pay attention, you know, I like to quote some of the things that Courtney says, because she says stuff that are really poignant, and I love it when she says success leaves clues. That's very true. Like, a lot of the people who are successful will tell you, like, I had to get an accountant, I had to get a CPA, or somebody who literally had to organize my finances so that way I knew where everything was, my family knew where everything was, and I had my attorney put it in wills, put it in trust, so that way if anything ever happened to me, whether I got incapacitated or just sick and just don't want to do nothing because I just don't feel like it, they know who to call to make sure that they can get certain things taken care of.
Right.
So
no, and that was what Courtney was like, so you what? I'm like, yeah, Court, I don't know. Like, a lot of the questions I never thought about. You, like you said, you gotta have that conversation with yourself just in case. And the thing is, have it now while you're still in good health, to have a conversation about it and be rational, not like, well, they said I got 2 weeks to live. Let me just, no, do it now. And like you said, really put it in play. And that was, for me, it was eye-opening. I said, I was being selfish. I was being an a-hole because I was only thinking about me per se, you know. But now it's like you said, like, no, like, it is what it is. Like, it's whether they know today or tomorrow.
Yes, it's self-reflection. It's all of these things. Longevity and legacy has to do with a lot of that stuff. And one of the other things too that I tell people, that
you got to make sure you take care of, even when you getting it out of the mud and you hustling and you get to a place where you might hit a stride and everything else. Work on y'all mental health. Work on your mental health.
I don't know if we got enough time to talk about that. I don't know if
we might not, but I needed to say that before we get off of here, because
but you can't leave it there. You can't leave it there, Traci. So when you because we teetered it earlier when you talked about the check with the homies, because that's just one level of it. But then sometimes we need somebody with another outlook, a non-personal attachment that we need to talk to, decompress, work some things out. So again, like you said, and a testament to my wife, before we got married, she said, yo, I think you should at least talk to somebody before, whatever you got going on or don't got going on, just talk to somebody. Because, me and the pastor was beefing. We was talking, but like, dog, like, yo, you're not going to talk to me like that. Like, dog, you're not helping my situation. But it's challenging me. So, she said, yo, talk to a therapist. So for me, when you talk about success leaves clues, I look at, just don't Jay-Z, some other people like that are just successful. They all like, they got, when you talk about counsel, you got your lawyers, you got your therapist for your mental, you got your tax people, and those are all the things like, and they got a good woman behind them. And I was like, well, if this person a millionaire, he keeps saying his wife and this person and that, I need to get my shit together.
And I don't think people realize how deep mental health gets tested in entrepreneurship, because you don't have your typical cushions and things that could be able to cover some of your triggers. Like, a lot of people have unhealthy attachments to money. A lot of people don't understand that making money is not going to solve every last problem that you have in your entire life. You can make money and still be completely alone, completely feeling
every day.
Listen, I've seen it. I've seen everything from people making money way too fast and shoot up and not be able to enjoy it because they never actually did the work. Here, I've seen people lost everything and literally be in a space where they're like, you know what? This is the best I've ever felt in my entire life. So glad that I lost all of that stuff, because it freed me from being able to believe that I need it. And I'm just literally going to sell coconuts on the beach in the Bahamas and live a better life.
I that life. It wasn't for me. I'm good. And I'll be honest, like, I struggle with, when I get there, do I really want it? Because like you said, I don't know if I fixed all my demons. Like, and like you said, like, like, I got some things I want. Like, I want to flex a little bit, but the wife would be like, why you really want to flex? Just to stroke your ego? She's like, babe, I'll stroke your ego, but we're not spending $10,000 on no watch. Like, I'm like, why not? Like, we got it. She's like, now let's talk about this tuition. Like, you want to say that we can spend that on tuition versus the watch kind of thing. But
every tax bracket you go to, every space that you get to, there's a, new level, new devil. It is what it is. But, having a healthy level of flex, a healthy level of, okay, I made it. I feel like I owe myself, something to feel good about making it.
Healthy flex. I can have a healthy flex.
Healthy flex. Healthy flex. Most of my CPAs and FUS will tell you anywhere between 10 and 15% of whatever your windfall is a healthy flex. So
okay.
100K, 10K, you flex it. That's it. Let it go after that.
It's the pocketbook or the shoes, not the shoes and the pocketbook.
Pick one and move on, because we got a new level.
But even if we bring that back, like you said, the triggers, and even in entrepreneurship, you'll realize your business will go a lot smoother when your home life is good or your mental stability is good. And I tell people, they be like, why? How you do everything you do? I be like, I don't got those other stress things in my life, so I'm able to be creative and just let it flow. When I'm in a good headspace, it just flow.
One of the biggest killers of entrepreneurial dreams, as well as mental health and entrepreneurship, is stress. Not being able to maintain it, not being able to
put yourself in a space where you know how to defer it. And one of the things that my dad would always tell me is your house should be your center. It should be the space that you go back to let the world go, to put all of the stress away. And this is your zen. And no one should know the address to the foxhole unless you give it to them.
Right.
Because if they disrupt your peace and disrupt your zen, you don't have a job to go to the house to come back home. Like, house is your zen. It is your home base for everything as an entrepreneur. So you have to make sure that no one disrupts that.
Yo, I love that. So literally, that even goes to like, yo, just where you live, like just the community in itself, like the importance of, we got some new neighbors on the block and they a little rough. You know, they just got their stippy money. They done bought like 3 cars in the past week and they messing up the park. I'm that dude on the block now, like, yo, park in front of your house. Yo, I'm that, like, no, park in front of your house.
That's
One
how you
car.
I said, that's how you know you grown. When you like,
No,
you out here disrupting my peace.
no, look, I gotta ride up the street, come around the block, the park. Like, no, like we had a good thing because all the neighbors, I got older neighbors.
Oh.
So it was like, yo, everybody had that kind of respect thing. Like, oh no, I could park across the street or park in my driveway kind of thing. Like, I ain't gonna mess your thing up. You know, especially you got kids or they elderly, like, no,
right.
do you? But no, they got like 6 families in this one house and it's like 3, 4 cars. Now they want to, you know, line them up the street to take their pictures on the gram. And I'm like, like, yo, you're killing me. You're killing me. And I don't want to be like my pop used to do. You know, now you beefing with the neighbors. Like, no, I don't, because now my piece really messed up, you know.
Might be time to go, Aunt.
Well, no, hey, I'm looking. We're trying to figure it out because, like you said, new levels with devils. So we're trying to get that. We got the financial stability going on, right? But now we're trying to keep it. So now when we go, we ain't got no more bumps. I can't move again and have some. I'm not going back to them bumps. We're not doing it. Those bring the stresses.
Oh no, I can dig it. I definitely get it. But just you know, home life is really, really important for entrepreneurship. You got to make sure that is straight and that is comfortable. And you know this from just being in real estate, that these things that people start complaining about, it's time to go. It might be time to find maybe not a move up, but maybe a lateral move, just someplace same comfort zone level of bill, not here.
Right, but the crazy thing, we only been here a couple years, and the vibe, like they selling houses now, 225, 250 up the street, around the corner. So we know the equity there, but it's like, nah, I want to wait. So that's why, like, I got a little more rumbling to do. I got just a little more, because when I moved though, like you said, that sanctuary, I'm kind of torn between that big old yard or that rooftop deck. That's because when I move, I need like, you said 10, 15. I'm saying 20% flex. 20. Can I get 20? I get 20 little, you know, I'm going to chill after that.
I guess. I mean, if you do the 20, that means the next bump up that you go up higher, you shouldn't do nothing then. I don't know if you want that life.
I mean, you know, but I'm going to go back to what you said. For that stability and peace of mind, I might, for that zen in the foxhole. For that zen in the foxhole, you know, they're gonna be calling me rooftop Ant. I'm gonna be like doing my IG lives from the rooftop, like my old head Mr. Lenny Bazemore was doing.
Listen, I'm with everybody. Like, rooftop decks to me is where I'm at in life. I'm not cutting grass. I'm not seeding the garden. I'm not doing any of those things. We're gonna get some turf and and live our lives. And then
Nah, that's what's up. Well, I definitely appreciate you. It is a pleasure for you to give us this time and for us to talk, man. You nothing but good energy, nothing but blessings to you for the rest of your journey.
Thank you.
Before we thank you. Can you tell us, like, hey, can you give us just give us your top 3 books or even podcasts that you're listening to or reading right now? Whether right now, just 3 books that changed your life. Let's do that. 3 books that changed your life.
Always books that changed my life. There's so many different things. I get inspiration from so many different places, not just books, but music as well as movies and a lot of different things that happen. But I do the traditional books, and I know people a lot of times don't like to plug this young man, so I won't pull too much of my Robert Kiyosaki bag just because we got some black ones out here that write books similar.
Yeah, well, he went a little sideways during the pandemic. I don't know if it was him tweeting or his people, but
Yeah, no, that was him. He had it in him. He got it in him. It's fine.
right,
So,
he hang out with them guys, right?
yeah, it's
But the
fine.
early Robert, the book wise, we just gonna keep it to the book. So I got you, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
Definitely. I have read several times the 48 Laws of Power.
Okay.
That's important, but it's heavy, but it's something that's necessary for folks out here to compete. I am, and I've said this on a podcast before when I did with By the Hood. I tell people a lot of times. Yeah, absolutely. We love Boiler Room, the movie. You never saw the movie Boiler Room?
I don't think I saw that one. I might have to catch that on demand.
You gotta watch. Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta watch that one. And of course, the conversation just about understanding your power and understanding how easy it is to flip and switch the power. I would say other movie classic Trading Places.
Oh, with Eddie Murphy.
Absolutely.
That's an interesting. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it from that standpoint instead of from a comical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to now. I gotta go back and so Boiler Room, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch that from that perspective.
Yeah. Well, Boiler Room was just like it's mind blowing by itself. If as an entrepreneur, when you pay attention to what's really going on, that's another conversation. But Trading Places, when you start thinking about all of the things that can change in your life, depending on who are your friends, what your perspective is, and then being able to maintain it where you just walk in your power and you're like, oh, well, actually, I can do this. So I think when you pull it from that space, it becomes a different conversation.
So, all right, last thing. Keep going about that power, though. So I'm saying when I see real estate Traci, I see greatness, right? So if I'm looking at say it again.
I said, oh, thank you.
So when I'm saying, hey, I'm saying somebody that's still in their journey trying to figure out, like, what advice can you get that person that, like you said, put their crown on or tie their boots up and keep pushing kind of thing. Like, how do they get that switch?
Switch to greatness.
Well, to accepting their greatness, like you're saying, like in trading, like you said, just being able to get out of the worry phase, to get out of that worry phase.
Yes. It's about trusting yourself. It's about being into a space where you know the rubric, you know the outline of what you're supposed to do, you know the procedure, you've read the books, you've done the classes, online, you've talked to some of the gurus, you've had conversations with other people to the point where you start to almost rhythmically predict certain things like, oh, why did they do that? They should have just used a 2x4. Or what's going on with the boiler? They should have turned around and turned it into HVAC. And isn't it cheaper to just use, metal instead of lumber right now? Why they put the metal siding on the outside when the property has beautiful brick? Certain stuff like that, when it comes to contracting work, when it comes to rehab and real estate, you'll start to kind of instinctively get that. Even when you are a student of interest rates and students of programs and different things, you'll start having conversations with people, spitting it off just in dinner conversation, and you're just like, oh wow, I didn't realize I just monopolized the So once you get those kind of clues, I would say it's good time to test the waters to see what you're really, really made of. And I think you may surprise yourself. But I always tell people your cushion, your backing, put that money away, do what you can to in case you fail. Because the difference between actually having a dream and a business model is that you've already accounted for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to be in your business plan that if I fail, this is what I'm going to do. And in a lot of computer information systems, it's an if-then statement. If it happens, then I'm going to do this. That is all you have to be able to put together in a business model. So it's nothing but a plan to know exactly what you need to do.
I like that.
So, and other than that, keep a village, keep a circle, keep people around you that push you, that have conversations with you, that make sure that you are right, make sure that you know what the newest thing is, that you can bounce conversations off with people to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm doing it this way, but I'm having problems. It's like, oh, why are you doing it that way? I started doing it this way 3 months ago. And you're like, now I done saved $20,000 just by thank you.
No, that okay. All right, so I'm saying, look, I'm even taking some of this, y'all. So I hope y'all got this. Y'all heard what she said. She heard it. Walk in your greatness. Get your tribe together. Work on your mental health, and then just get your ducks in a row, not just in the business, but also personally, so that you can flourish. Because once you get going, it's not, you don't want to have to be that person that got to take a step back just to take another 2 steps forward.
No, too much time. Too much time to do all of that. Plan it out well. You can springboard easily and quickly. And a lot of times, if you fail and you fall, it doesn't matter as long as it doesn't completely break you or break your spirit. Do you know that you can file bankruptcy with an LLC if you completely make a bad decision, don't know what you're doing, risk it all, and it all completely falls down? File bankruptcy, and it has nothing to do with your personal credit, social security number. You can rebuild your life. Like,
see, that's a new level. I don't know if I'm ready for that conversation. I try not to even think about bankruptcy stuff because I just be like, I just thought it was always bad.
it's not. It literally is in the tax code as a debt restructuring because I messed up and I need a bailout. So can the courts help me restructure my debt so that way I can still continue to do business and live and breathe and work in this world? A lot of the things that we were taught very young about money and finances are completely wrong. That is not how the world operates. That is not the world that everything runs off of. And it's not the game that's played at a very high level.
Right. But so not that it was bad, but the problem was, and that's what I'm learning as I'm trying to teach my kids now. My parents knew what they knew, right? It fit that mold per se. But for where I'm going, it don't fit. So even when we talk about credit card debt or credit cards ain't bad. It's what you do with that credit card that was bad.
What you do. But there has to be a way to structure in your business model the uses of the credit and the leverage of the credit spread out amongst everything that you're doing that still keeps it below 80 to 75%. Because if the inflation, if the economy goes to crap, you don't want to be caught with your pants down where you're over leveraged. And now those credit card companies turn around and say, hey, we're shut down now. We're going to close all of your accounts right now, today. If we do that, are you okay? Because it happened in 2008.
Right. And even now, so banks, they're tightening up. And then like, if you ain't using that card, they close one of my cards. And I'm like, I've been a customer with y'all for like 6 years. And because I just wasn't using it in the last year, y'all closed my account. Like, come on.
They're like, yeah, we don't care because we need to actually sell this money to make money. And if you letting it sit here and not using it,
we ain't making money.
It's really not working for us. So we got to sell it to make money. And sometimes, and even like things that happened in 2008 with the big crash,
when a bank is over leveraged and they have too much money floating out there that isn't being paid back in a good debt space or in a space, they're over leveraged, so they got to shut it down anyway. And the concern that what happened in 2008 that people need to understand now is don't over leverage yourself. You don't need to pull out that kind of money of your asset unless it's doing something to acquire something else or to make more money. Because I promise you, all of these people who are over leveraged are going to end up in bad spaces when we have a shift in the economy, and it's coming.
I feel like you're hinting. So but wait, so it's not going to tank like 2008, but we're going to have some fluctuation just in some adjustments per se.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some serious market correction because it has to. We're going to have some things that are going to happen. So one thing I'm going to say in Philly specifically, because I don't know where everybody's from, in the conversation about Philly, when it comes to landlords and stuff, owners are very stressed right now. A lot of them have not been able to evict, and the lenders have not been able to foreclose for a little over a year and some change now. There are some people who are having problems with maintaining the maintenance on these buildings and fees that are starting to pile up for some of the changes that happened since COVID with refuse bills, vacant property bills. All these things are happening and there's no rent coming in. So now people are going to have to figure out what they're doing financially if they have a mortgage, or potentially with the building if they can't maintain it anymore because they have non-performing tenants.
Right.
So that shift in the market is going to change a lot of things because people assume that rental roles are landlord, I live upstairs, or multi-unit. Some of these are apartment buildings, 40 and 50 units. Some of these are storefronts with 2 apartments above it. Some of these mom and pop shops own a little more to not really be a big old developer, but they ain't super, super small with mom and pop where it's only one thing. So it's going to be a lot of things happening as we kind of go beyond into the summer and into some of these stress points for some of these people who have these business models that didn't include failure. That's what it is. So
okay.
Wait. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I want to say most of the people who taught me and my father, they are the sharks. They are the people.
They was just waiting. They can't wait.
They sit and they wait and they compound their interest in the stock market. They put their money aside in their mutual funds, 401ks, self-directed IRAs, and they wait. And then when it's blood in the streets and there are fire sales happening out here, they pounce. And it's nothing you can do when you're in a foreclosure space and someone shows a bank, I have $300,000 cash and I will take the house.
No questions asked.
Nope.
Now you just hoping the sheriff don't come this weekend. So I feel like you also were hinting in regards to the leverage. So the BRRRR strategy. So should we be out here burn, or can we BRRRR but just be conservative kind of thing?
I'm always erring on the side of conservation, just because if it's something that is a good leverage and you're being able to pull money out of it to buy something else or to sustain the asset that you have, cool. But anything outside of that you don't really have a use for that money that's being pulled out to do something, I'm not really a big fan of that. And I know a lot of people will pull all the equity out of a property.
So no Lexus coupes? No Lexus coupes?
Listen, if you like a Lexus coupe and you can afford it, buy it. But I don't think you should pull it out of the house. That's where we are here, guys. But if you have a triplex or a quadruplex and you pulled out 60% of the value to fix it up and now it's generating market rent and you're bringing in the money a month to cover the mortgage plus your Lexus coupe and the insurance that comes along with it and the maintenance package, do you?
I like how you added that in. That's the good part. You said the maintenance package. You're gonna buy something like that, get that maintenance package, because now that rent roll got to get eaten up when it needs something wrong, when the check engine light go on. You can't take that to 56 and Vine and let them work on that. You can't. They can't work out of R.S. Strauss.
Success leaves clues. That's what I'm trying to tell you. These folks who are living the good life, they're not worrying about things like maintenance because we've already paid that cost in the purchase price
Up front, right?
And those certain things that something as small as paying for a maintenance package can literally save your entire life with not having to worry about, oh my God, my brakes went out, and now I got to spend $350 that I didn't have out of my budget just for brakes because it's a luxury car.
So if I'm hearing you right, look, for them ballers out there, if you balling and you ain't got a maintenance package, you ain't really balling. That car wasn't for you. That wasn't for you. Downgrade, get you the Toyota coupe because you can afford the maintenance package with it. It's a lot more feasible for you. You don't got to step out there on the Lex just so you can have a photo shoot on your Instagram story.
It's all about wealth maintenance. Like, you got to be able to maintain your wealth. I don't care if the Bentley is on sale for $200,000. If you can't afford them oil changes in that Bentley, then you can't afford that Bentley. Same thing with these $500,000 houses and these new construction and all that stuff. If you can't afford to deal with an HVAC or pay for a home warranty or take care of all the things you need on the grounds of these properties,
look, Tifa said, get the minivan like Malik.
Yes, minivan. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? I ain't even mad because it's stress-free.
So I can't get the minivan. That's gonna break my style, but the in between little mid-size SUV, little mid-size SUV.
Listen, do what makes you feel good, that you can afford, and that makes sense for your mental health. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I like luxury. I like luxury cars and everything else, but my brain is conditioned that I can't really pay for things unless I'm already bringing in double what it costs. So now I want something, I don't look like, oh, how much can I afford? It's like, all right, so that's okay. So I need to bring in double that to make sure that I can support it. And in the event something go wrong or inflation happens or changes happen,
affect my lifestyle.
It's not really a concept of income money versus liability money. It's you need to make sure that you're generating double that income to be able to support a lifestyle that doesn't require stress. Like, people would be sad when I tell them what my bills are monthly. I'm like, I don't generate that many bills. I don't keep a big, large bill because I like my mental health. I don't like being stressed out. And if I want to go somewhere, eat good and drink good, you're not going to tell me no.
Or get them new shades because you always got some new shades.
Listen, I like fashion. I like practice. I like all of these things. None of this will break my budget. None of it.
Look, it was already in the budget. Get it, earn it twice, and we good. Earn it twice.
Listen, you gotta make sure that your financial literacy is the way that it is, and at some level, also too, you get to a space where you're almost tax free if you're doing it right. So that way, your income is generating income to be able to submit into the tax code. So all it would do is rinse and repeat. So you shouldn't owe nobody nothing. Everything that comes in your pocket, you should be able to keep it if you're doing it right.
All right, I feel like we see now. Look, you going, talking about letting it roll and then rinse it and then pulling it and still keeping it and keeping it.
Keep it.
All right, look, all right, we not going. You don't got to give us that part. We're gonna say that for part 2. So
okay.
Can we hold you to a part 2? Can we get a part 2?
We can do a part 2. I'm down.
All right. Well, look, like I said, we definitely appreciate it. For those who want to reach out to you or just follow your journey, where can they find you?
On Instagram, I am Real Estate Tracy with an I. That's probably the easiest way to catch up with me. I am on Facebook as well under Traci.P Realtor. If you look on Facebook also, but that's probably the easiest way. I drop as much gems. I put as many visuals and introduce as much concepts as I can with myself and my team on that page. So that's the best way to reach me.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, next week we'll be right back here Thursday at 8 p.m. We got a nice lineup for April, so we definitely just going to keep bringing that fire. Hit the link in my bio. We got some events coming up. Mark your calendar now, May 29th. When I say we coming out of COVID, like, so we can't get rid of COVID, but I'm saying I miss y'all, and we need to do something in person safely. So we're going to do something safely with some great folks to speak and talk and get y'all the information that y'all need to win. So what did you call it? You call it manage money maintenance. What did you?
Wealth maintenance.
Wealth maintenance. So I'm about to get my iPad and get my notebook because I feel like I need to do another dive. Every time I think I got it, now you just sent me back into the archives. I gotta figure this out. We gonna get my wealth maintenance on.
Yes, it's important. You got to keep every 3 to 5 years. You got to do a checkup.
Well, we definitely gonna be on it, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna watch Boiler Room this weekend. I'm gonna add that.
Do it. Tell me what you think.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you again. Thank you
for having me on here. I definitely had a great time. This is an awesome conversation, and I'm seeing half of the comments that are kind of rolling into my folks in here, my team here, some of my real estate buddies is in here, so I'm excited. This was good. This was awesome.
No, thank you. Well, no, they definitely in here bigging you up. So they definitely, Team Tracy's in the house tonight. Definitely.
I love it.
So thank you again. You have a good night, and I'll be reaching out to you.
Okay. See you later.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.